Everyone has seen the chart. You invest a little money. Compound interest does its magic. The line curves upward. And one day, apparently, you're rich. There's just one problem. Nobody shows you the part where, for years, it feels like almost nothing is happening. You invest, you wait, you check your account. And your first thought is, that's it? You were promised a snowball. What you got was an ice cube. And this is exactly where most people misunderstand compounding. Because there is a point in your financial life when something strange begins to happen. Your money starts contributing more to your wealth than you do. And once that happens, the game changes completely. But to understand why, we need to start with the part nobody likes talking about. In the beginning, you're doing almost all the work. The boring years. Let's say you start investing $300 a month. After 1 year, you've contributed $3,600. Maybe your investments have grown a little. You check the account, maybe it's worth $3,800 or $3,900. And your brain thinks, that's it? I did all that work for a few $100s. Then year 2 comes. You keep investing. Your balance grows. But most of the growth is still you. Your money isn't carrying you. You're carrying it. And when people say, just let compound interest work, this is the part that feels almost insulting. Because you are the one working. You earn the money, you save it, you invest it. And the account still looks underwhelming. That is why compounding feels broken at the beginning. Not because it is broken, but because the base is too small. A 10% return on $1,000 is $100. A 10% return on $10,000 is $1,000. Same percentage, completely different result. At the beginning, the percentage is working. The dollar amount just isn't impressive yet. The part people quit during. Now imagine doing this for 5 years. You've been disciplined. You've stayed consistent. Your account is finally starting to look respectable. But still, you think 5 years, that's all? And this is where people start looking sideways. Your friend made money in crypto. Someone else doubled their money in one stock. Someone online claims they made more in 6 months than you made in 5 years. Suddenly, slow starts feeling stupid. Maybe I'm doing this wrong. Maybe I need something faster. But this is the trap. The early years are not when compounding impresses you. They are when you build the machine. And most people abandon the machine before it becomes powerful. Think about pushing a giant snowball. At first, you're doing all the work. But as it gets bigger, every turn adds more snow. Eventually, the snowball starts helping you. The problem is, most people quit while it's still small. When your money starts helping. Now let's say you've built a portfolio of $50,000, and let's assume, just for illustration, it grows by 8% in a good year. That's around $4,000 of growth. If you're still investing $300 a month, you personally contributed $3,600. Your money may have now contributed more than you did. That is the crossover. Before that point, your account grew mostly because you kept feeding it. Now, the account starts feeding itself. Not every year, of course. Markets fluctuate. Some years are negative. Some are flat and some are strong. But once the base becomes large enough, your money becomes a meaningful participant. Your old money starts creating new money. Then that new money can start creating more money. This is when compounding stops feeling theoretical. It becomes a shift in who is doing the work. And this brings us to something important, because if building wealth takes time, does that mean you should move slowly? Absolutely not. There's a saying that explains this perfectly. Money loves speed, but wealth loves time. Those two ideas might sound contradictory, but they actually work together. When it comes to improving your financial life, speed matters. The faster you increase your income, the faster you start saving, the faster you start investing, the faster you build the base that compounding needs. So when it comes to taking action, move fast. Learn valuable skills, increase your income, start investing, build the snowball. Because money loves speed, but once that money is inside the machine, something completely different is required: patience. Because wealth loves time. You can accelerate how quickly you earn your first $10,000. You can build a business, get a better job, develop valuable skills, increase how much you invest. But you cannot force 20 years of compounding to happen in 2. And this is where people get it backwards. They move too slowly when they should be moving fast. Then they become impatient when they should be waiting. They spend 5 years saying, "I'll start investing later." Then they finally start and expect to get rich in 6 months. It should be the opposite. Move fast to build a base, then be patient enough to let the base grow. Your job is to build the machine as quickly as you reasonably can, and then give that machine as much time as possible to work. Why starting earlier matters so much. Imagine 2 people. One starts investing at 25, the other starts at 35. The person who starts later might invest more every month, maybe even twice as much. But the first person has something the second person can never fully buy back: a 10-year head start. The first person didn't necessarily earn more. They didn't necessarily find a better investment. They simply started the machine sooner. And the longer that money exists, the more time every dollar gets to multiply. This is why compounding can feel unfair, but patience only works after you start. You cannot compound money you never invested, and you cannot go back at 45 and give your 25-year-old self money to invest. That is why the combination is so powerful. Speed gets you into the game. Time allows compounding to do its job. Waiting to start doesn't send you a bill. Nothing visibly bad happens. You simply lose years that your money can never get back. The first $100,000 feels different. This is why people talk so much about the first $100,000. Not because $100,000 is some magical number, but because once the base gets larger, the scale changes. A 10% year on $10,000 is $1,000. On $100,000, it's $10,000. On $500,000, it's $50,000. Same percentage, different world. This is when you finally understand what compounding was trying to do the entire time. The first stage was slow because the machine was small. Then the machine got bigger. And suddenly, the same percentage starts producing meaningful money. Compounding often feels like nothing until suddenly it doesn't. The curve was always there. Your account just needed enough money and enough time for you to finally see it. But even when the machine starts working, people still find ways to stop it. They panic during downturns. They pull their money out. They chase the next hot investment. They keep restarting, and restarting is brutal. Because compounding loves continuity. The longer money stays invested, the more old gains get the chance to create new gains. Interrupt the process often enough, and you keep dragging yourself back toward the beginning. This is where people confuse making money quickly with building wealth. They see a stock doubling, a coin exploding, an investment everyone is suddenly talking about. And because it's moving fast, they assume it must be better. But remember, money loves speed. Wealth loves time. Making money quickly and building lasting wealth are not always the same thing. This is why boring can be such an advantage. Boring is consistent. Boring stays invested. Boring doesn't panic every time the market drops. Boring gives the machine time to become powerful. The real power of compounding is not just that money grows, it's that the source of your growth changes. At the beginning, you are the engine. You earn, you save, you invest. Then slowly, your money becomes a second engine. And eventually, that second engine can become stronger than the first. Now, your wealth is no longer growing only because you worked harder. It is growing because the system you built years ago is still working. While you sleep, while you work, while you take a holiday. That is what people really mean when they say, make your money work for you. You built a large enough base and gave it enough time for the returns to become meaningful. But the machine didn't build itself. You had to start it. And once you do, Your job eventually changes, from building the machine to simply not getting in its way. So why does compound interest feel like a scam? Because the reward is delayed. You put in the effort now, and the biggest payoff comes later. And humans hate that arrangement. We want proof now. We want progress now. We want the number to look impressive before the system has had time to become impressive. But compounding does not care about your impatience. The first few years, you do almost all the work. Then your money helps. Then your money helps more. Then one day, you look at your account and realize the growth from your portfolio was bigger than what you personally added. That is the moment you understand. Compound interest was never doing nothing. It was building momentum, quietly, slowly, almost invisibly, until the numbers became large enough for you to finally see it. The simplest way to win. So what should you actually do? Move quickly on the things you can control. Start sooner rather than later. Increase your income if you can. Invest consistently. Increase your contributions as your income grows. Build the base as quickly as your situation reasonably allows. But once your money is invested, stop demanding instant results. You don't need to predict the perfect stock. You don't need to become a market genius. You need a system. And you need enough patience to let that system work. Most people do the opposite. They delay starting and then rush the process. They stop. They switch. They chase. Meanwhile, the person who starts, keeps contributing, and stays in the game quietly moves ahead. So the next time you look at your investment account and think, this is moving too slowly, remember this. The slow part is not the failure. The slow part is the foundation. But that doesn't mean you should move slowly. Move fast to start. Move fast to learn. Move fast to increase your income. Move fast to build the base. And then, give that base time. At first, you push the snowball. Then, the snowball starts helping you. And eventually, your money can start growing faster. Then you can personally add to it. That is the moment everything changes. Money loves speed. Wealth loves time. So build the machine as early as you can. Build it as quickly as you reasonably can. And then, have the patience to let it work. Because wealth usually doesn't look exciting while it's being built. It looks boring, slow, almost pointless. Right up until the moment, it doesn't. If you enjoy videos that explain the hidden rules behind money and wealth without turning them into boring finance lectures, subscribe. And if you watched all the way to the end, thank you. We genuinely appreciate your support. Now, go start the machine and give it time.